Bacon from the bucket. Bert's got his sausages. He doesn't want to barbecue this one today, folks. Much to the relief of the firemen, the bombing and the fighting have faded away and gone off, and now they can focus in safety for putting out the fires. And yet, unbeknownst to them, at the back of the shed, there's a little fire burning, and no one has yet to see it except the guys who know their moonshines in it. There's no more water in the stirrup buckets. The firemen think everything's fine, but they don't realise at the background the shed is about to burst into flame. Senior fire officer has been alerted. He's not going to call the all clear on the ground until he knows, oh, there it goes. Tom's distill of his moonshine has gone up in smoke and flame. And so are the sausages and the bacon. So now, not knowing what's inside the shed, Senior Fire Officer organises both a foam branch and the spray water. And here they're using a spray nozzle to do a wide dispersal to make sure the ground all around is dampened and wet to prevent fire travelling into the tracks and into the verges, while the other firemen spray foam around the area. This is not what they wanted. They thought it was just going to be a simple bonfire today, but in fact we've had a delayed fire in the shed. These incendiaries were vicious. They would burn very hot, quietly burn through, and then suddenly set the whole thing alight. So now the job is on. They've got to get this fire under control. There's been too many fires along the verges of the train tracks. They don't want this here. This is the station. Got to get this fire under control as quickly as possible. You'll often see the firemen taking different positions with their hoses, depending on what they're needing to do. Often if the pressure's very high, you'll have two people to help hold and control the jet. With the foam pack, often you've got two guys, one of them holding, other one controlling the amount of foam going through. If the water pressure required is slightly low, or you're doing a spray, sometimes you just have one fireman kneeling down on the ground, steadying the whole hose, using the ground as a stabiliser. The guys from the station are just standing there looking very, very unhappy. Despite their best efforts, moonshine, sausages, bacon and their afternoon tea has all gone up in smoke. And in fact, ladies and gentlemen, all the residents of areas had to be fully appraised of where their bucket and stirrup pumps and water supplies were available. It was very common that the first line of fire could be you, your daughter, your husband, your son, your brother, standing there with a bucket and a stirrup pump, putting out the fires in your own houses, your back gardens, because when they dropped a lot of these incendiaries, anywhere up to 1,800 per plane, it was you in your home, in your workplace, who was the first call to fight the fire. And although today the guys from the yard and from the bus company thought they'd done a good job on the shed, it was afraid it was just too little. They really did need the National Fire Service to help them. And as you can see here, they're busy spraying water all along the bank, and this is more important actually now than the shed. The shed can just burn. What they need to do is contain the fire by making sure that all the train tracks and all the verges are soaked with water so that they do not catch fire. Once they are soaked, they will then take their attention to the shed and put that out. Now that they've got a second amount of water, they've managed to get a hydrant, they've run the hoses, they've now got two hoses onto the shed, and now the fire will be put out very, very quickly. Our firefighters today are wearing traditional National Fire Service uniform, thick woolen trousers and jackets. In this job they will have gotten very wet, but wool doesn't burn, it singes. It soaks up water, so it's quite heavy. So in many respects, It was acting as a barrier against heat. It was preventing our firefighters from getting burnt or scorched. And unlike a lot of modern fabrics, it just wouldn't burn until it was really roasted. But in this situation, wool was a very good protector against fire. Along their legs, they've got wet legs. That's to try and help them keep dry on their legs and their feet, especially if they were having to wade through water. Right, an axe has been brought out. They want now to make sure that this shed is really truly gone. They're going to take it out, break it up, so that they can get the jets inside and cool.